Good evening. Welcome to Slow It Down Sunday. I am your host, Arlene Connolly Drummond, and I am so thankful that you have taken this time. You have paused in the busyness of your day, of your week, and you have said, I am taking time for me. I am centering myself. I am what? I am slowing down so that I may refresh, recalibrate, revive, renew, restore, and reposition myself for the week ahead. This is the time that we come together in this community of like-minded individuals who have said to ourselves that we understand the power of slowing down. We understand that when we slow down, it doesn't mean that we're being inactive. It doesn't mean that we are being lazy. It doesn't mean that we are being unproductive. In fact, when we slow down, we are exercising the power of rest, the power of renewal, the ability to gain clarity of thought and reconnecting with your inner self. I am so happy that you are here with us tonight and that you are taking time to slow down on this wonderful Sunday. So I am so settled in the conversation for today. Wanted to talk to you about a topic that usually doesn't get a lot of attention. We don't focus on it a lot. We have a tendency we set goals and we try to get to the finish line. We're looking for the outcome, the achievement. But so often we are missing what is happening in the middle. You know, when they talk about the dash between your birth and your death, that dash is in the middle. All the things, life experiences that are happening to you, for you, with you, around you, in between that dash, right? It's the middle. The middle, I'm calling the space in the middle a very sacred place, a sacred space that we must do a better job of embracing all that's taking place in the middle. So tonight, we are talking about the sacred middle, embracing the in-between. How many of you feel like you're no longer where or who you used to be, but you're not who you want to be, who you're aspiring to be? You're in this almost like a holding pattern, in a space where you find sometimes you're feeling like you're in limbo, like you're wandering, like you're not sure if the things that you're doing are in alignment and they are taking you to fulfilling purpose, to that great destination. That space we call in the middle. It could be a messy space because we are not sure about what is happening in this space, right? We are in a place, I want to share with you that in this middle space, as we slow down, we have the opportunity to gain presence. Presence meaning that you are being consciously aware about what is happening and who you are becoming in this middle space called growth, this middle space called refinement, this middle space called development, this middle space called grounding, called growing deeper roots, called having a greater sense of clarity and discernment, called the ability to build muscle and to stretch beyond your comfort zone. The middle, the middle can sometimes feel like a place, it could be a place where we feel frustrated, annoyed. Sometimes we're even angry about what's happening in this middle. Why haven't I gotten to where I want to be yet? That sense of hurried, rushing need to get there. We can often miss the lesson in the journey, the lesson in the moment. What is the stretching supposed to teach us? I really want us to just lean in today and think about where we are in our lives and to slow down enough to say, I am not who I was. I'm not where I was. I have a vision. I see the vision. I've written down the vision. I'm working my plan. But oh my goodness, when will I get there? And sometimes we can get so frustrated in the anxiousness of wanting to get there that we miss the lessons in the moment. I don't know about you, but I don't want to miss any lessons in the moment. I want to be fully present, fully engaged, with a clarity of mind, an ability to focus, and having the energy to journey the process. I don't want to skip any steps because there is important lessons for me to gain in each step. There is something for us to learn. But if we are so busy, concerned about tomorrow, that we miss being present right now, we can miss the growth opportunities, the lessons we were supposed to learn. That is preparation for the journey and for the destination that we are seeking. Imagine us being stretched and groomed and further developed so that we can fully walk in to our purpose, fully walk into our calling, because we have allowed ourselves to be part of the process. We did not rush the process, but we took the process at a pace that allowed us to be deliberate, to be intentional, to be focused, to be strategic as we move through life. That's my conversation with you today. This sacred space called the middle. Where are you right now in your life? Where's that place in your life where you find yourself almost feeling like you're in limbo? And in some cases, some of us say, I want to go back. And some of us can look back and see there's nothing to go back to, because they have a heart and a vision for where you're going. But right now, this space called the middle feels kind of uncomfortable. And so that's where we are. So many of us are there. We're in that middle space. And it's not a space that we can rush. The middle doesn't allow us to rush. It invites us to journey. It invites us to take this space and to walk it. So I just wanted you to process what the middle can mean for you. And think about, why is this middle space? Why am I calling it sacred? So in the middle, I can ask myself some different types of questions. I can say, instead of, why haven't I gotten there yet, right? I can say, who am I becoming as I journey through this process? What am I learning? How am I growing through this process? What is the muscles that I'm building as I go through this process called the middle. It allows me to be sacred in the middle because it is a space of spiritual refinement. In the middle, it's a testing of my faith. I am not sure my next steps, but I'm moving anyway. I'm feeling a little bit of fear. I have some anxiety. I even feel some unsettledness in my spirit, but I'm moving anyway. I am on a journey and I am traveling and I am moving forward anyway. My pace may be a little bit more deliberate and intentional and focused because I am in movement. But in the middle, I can find myself seeming like there's no movement and nothing seems to be happening, right? Because the vision that I have is grand, it's great, and my daily action doesn't seem to be getting me where I want to be. But how many of you know that change is happening every single day? Growth is happening every single day. I am evolving, I am becoming, I am developing into the better versions of myself each and every day. That is happening. But I could miss that developmental phase because I am so focused on a destination. I'm here today to encourage you. Don't miss your moment of growth. Allow yourself to be fully conscious, to be fully present, to be fully aware of who you are becoming by the journey called living. Your journey, yes, the good stuff and the not so good stuff, the hard stuff that requires you to be tenacious, to have resilience, to press past your challenge, to welcome challenge, to welcome it. Can you imagine? I welcome challenge because I know it's an opportunity for me to grow. So I'm even changing the way I see and I face my life journey. I'm not facing it with a spirit of intimidation. I'm not facing it in the spirit of fear. I'm not facing it in the spirit of discouragement. But I'm facing it with a tenacity that I say, I welcome challenge. Challenge allows me to grow. If I'm not stretching, that means I'm staying the same. And growth is what I'm embracing, right? So I wanted you to think about that. When I'm in the middle, when I'm going through this sacred space, it requires me to surrender. Surrender my perceptions of what I think should be happening. Surrender my ideology of how it should go, who I should be in the moment. I am surrendering to God's divine plan, God's divine purpose, His divine timing. Surrender. I may not know the next step, but I know who's ordering my steps because I'm operating on purpose. So I am encouraging you today to think about this sacred place called the middle, to embrace it not from a spirit of frustration, but in a spirit of just forward thinking and processing. And can you imagine not being frustrated, but being hopeful, thankful, prayerful for the opportunity to sojourn? Can you imagine if you changed your frustration about life circumstances and embraced it with a different spirit of joy and peace and welcoming? what would that do for how you approach your daily life when you are moving from a different place? So I'm really looking forward to this middle, because right now I know I am not who I was yesterday. I'm not who I was 5 months ago. I'm not who I was a year ago. But I'm not where I aspire to be yet. I have not fully realized my God purpose. There's a big plan and assignment that's on my life. And I am in that place. I am there with you, with many of you who find yourself in that sacred middle. And you're asking yourself some days, why me and when will it happen? And I'm just here to encourage you to say, each day I welcome what each new day brings. And I'm ready to embrace it with a spirit of openness, a spirit of awareness to embrace the possibilities that may come my way. That my vision and God's plan, how do I continually seek to find alignment with that? And understand that it may cause me to make some detours, some turns. And that ultimately, if I'm trusting God's plan and His direction, I'm going to arrive to that place that He had destined for me. And it may even look different than the picture I originally had, right? So think about that. This allows us to, in this space of middle, to be a little bit more quiet. You know, I've often talked to you all about noise. There's a lot of noise and distraction that's going on. And in this middle space, in this space where we are finding ourselves not really where we really want to be yet, we can find ourselves doing some things that could be self-sabotaging. We can be making comparisons of our lives to other people's lives, to other people's timelines, to other people's vision for our lives, right? And we can detour, we can find ourselves being confused, misaligned, because we are doing what? We are comparing our journey, our assignment, our God plan with other people's agenda, with other people's journey. Each and every one of us journeys is uniquely our own. No one journey is the same, right? And so my encouragement to you is to drown out some of the noise so that you can have clarity. You can ensure that the pathway that you're on, that you're hearing the divine guidance, and that you're moving and with ordered steps, right? That you're not just spending time looking at what other people are doing and how other people are moving, but you are focused on your path and the way God is unraveling it for you, right? Your timing, God's timing, aligned, you will get to your destination. So we are really ensuring that we are not spending time allowing the distractions of the world to alter our assignment, but that we are embracing this space called sacred, middle, this zone of growth, of development, of stretching, of becoming, of healing, of renewal, of restoration. All of that is happening in this middle. You know, I want to give you a practical thought. So, an example of this middle space, right? So imagine you quit the job. You resigned from the job because you knew that was not where you needed to be. But you don't currently have the next assignment yet. You're in the middle, right? you're feeling in limbo. You're in a sense of anxiousness, right? We may find ourselves making decisions that alter his plan. But we want to find clarity and stillness in this middle, right? If you move with clarity and stillness while you're in this middle space, you will find that you have a greater sense of peace on this journey. You will find that you have the ability to get a lot more done. You will find that you are growing and maturing spiritually because you have a greater sense of peace. You know, one of the things that I always encourage you all to do is to journal. The power of writing, the power of words, the pen. The word of the Lord said, write the vision and make it plain. I encourage you, while you are on this journey called living, the importance of the power of documenting the journey. Write, put it down, the experiences you're having in the middle. Find the opportunities to celebrate the small wins, to acknowledge the experiences, the stretch, the growth, to acknowledge that you are developing and evolving emotionally, mentally, spiritually, right? Acknowledge that, because you may find that life will go by so quickly. And if you didn't write it down, you may have missed the moment to capture the journey of growth, the path of your becoming, and the lessons that you're harnessing along the way. This is your opportunity to make sure that you are penning your story. You are the author of your story. You are capturing it in real time. Your journal becomes a tool. Your journal becomes a reflective, an informative, an informational tool that helps you to know, wow, look at where I was. Look at how much I've grown. And look at where I'm going tomorrow. Because I'm putting it all down on paper. Right? So make sure that you're journaling. And then I also encourage you, and I know this is really important, it's the thing that helps me. We have to anchor ourselves in faith, anchor ourselves in our spirituality. There's so much distractions around us. We have to have an anchor, something that grounds us and allows us, even when we are being tossed to and fro, and there is so much going on, and we are feeling depleted. We may be feeling drained because the journey can take a lot from us, right? Our spiritual anchor allows us to travail, allows us to withstand, allows us to persevere, to press forward, right? Because we can find joy in our praise. We can find peace in our prayers. We can find power in knowing who and whose we are and what's guiding us. So I'm encouraging you to anchor and think about reframing what this waiting period may be. Because so much of what happens in our lives happens in our minds. And so I want to encourage you to really think about how are you thinking? How are you thinking about your experiences? Because what did it say? As a man thinketh, so is he. So is she, right? So what am I thinking? What am I thinking about this season in my life, right? This season called the middle, right? In growth, when something is growing, it may be growing underneath the surface, in the middle, before it peaks above ground, right? There is a great deal of work that's happening before that seedling that was buried, that is developing, before it peeks through the soil, Growth is happening. Roots are being anchored, right? Nutrients and nourishment is happening, right? All underneath the surface where no one can see. Could you be in that place where you are underneath the surface, in the place of safety, your own cocoon, right? Your divine covering, that is your preparation space, right? Your ability to gain all the nutrients, all the knowledge, the insight, the experiences that you need, so that as you spring forward, as you spring up, right? You spring up strong. You spring up confident. You spring up, right? Ready to embrace and be a light to the world. Ready to embrace and handle all that may be before you in this space that you're going. But if we miss the lessons, if we miss the timing of what's going on underneath the surface, the middle, if we miss it, we can spring up ill prepared for what the world is about to require from us, what the world may try to drain from us. We may not be shielded and prepared and equipped to withstand all that may come at us. But when we spend time in the middle, in the sacredness of the development, of the grooming, of His presence, when we do that, we can spring up even stronger, more powerful, with greater sense of clarity and focus. And guess what? We would have been doing it on the divine timing for our growth and our plan and our preparation. We will not be forced right. You will not be a forced ripe fruit because you sprung up too early, because you were pressing to be with everyone else, because you can't understand why is everyone else so far ahead. Why have they sprung and burst through the earth? And why am I still marinating? Why am I still in development? Because you're on your own timing. Your own timing. So don't rush your process because you're trying to keep up or to catch up with someone else. They're on their journey. You're on your journey. And if you spring too early, you may find that you have made a misstep. And so I'm encouraging each and every one of you, as you step into this new week, as you embrace and bring forth and give attention to what's happening in this season of your life, this space called the middle. You are not who you were, but you haven't yet arrived to who you're becoming. You are in the space of development. You are in the place of growth, and you are anchored. You are anchored in God. You are anchored in your awareness of who you are. And you have found that as I know who I am, and I know that I have a great assignment, that I am sojourning with clarity, with peace, with purpose, with intentionality, at my own pace, at the pace of my assignment. I'm not procrastinating. I'm moving with clarity and with purpose. And my steps are ordered. And I'm moving because I'm listening to that still small voice that is guiding me forward. I'm encouraging you as you step into your week this week, that you embrace the opportunity to move with a greater sense of clarity, to move with understanding and appreciating the space called your sacred middle, that space that can seem like an unknown, like you are not being productive, but I am encouraging you to tell you that productivity is happening, growth is happening, life is building you up. You are being prepared and positioned for all that you will become. And if you allow yourself to embrace this sacred middle, you will find that you are springing up stronger, you are flowering, you are blossoming, and you are becoming all that you were destined to be. This is what we are doing as we slow down. We are slowing down so that we could be on pace and in movement and in alignment. This is Arlene Connolly Drummond, your stride coach, and I'm encouraging you to slow down, embrace your sacred middle, and allow life to strengthen and develop and cultivate you into who you're becoming. So when you spring up, you're springing up fully prepared to embrace your purpose. See you next Sunday on Slow It Down Sunday.